thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for, girl, what is this one? This is 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, season something, episode something. Season 5, episode 8. Let's just get into it. I'm tired. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We are, like, comment, subscribe, share, breathe. Center yourself. And all that stuff, and that's in the description box below. Love you all, but let's move on, okay? I know y'all like it sometimes, but I'm like, it's 2 a.m. And they get on my nerve, okay? So first up, we have Paul and Karine. Really, just Paul and his mama. Because Paul has invited his mama down to the pet store to go pets, supply shopping or whatever, because he ain't got no money. And he needs his mama to buy the stuff for him. Did you invite me down here just to buy the stuff? Well, I mean, sort of, kind of, yeah, mama, but, I need some help. Have you been applying for jobs? Well, yeah, but it's hard because, my record from 10 years ago for arson, this makes it hard to even get in the door. Like, the minute they ask me the question, I have to say yes. They be like, oh, no, thank you. I will say it's probably hard to get a job if your record has arson on it. They don't want you to burn shit down or whatever. But I feel like you better do something else. Anyway, so the mom like, this is why, I just, you're for family here. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep trying to get a job for your family, okay? And then Paul, like, it's just, Karine's having a hard time, and, she's having her body issues, but she don't like her body because she just had a baby, you know what I'm saying? And she has concerns with that and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? That sometimes we are at odds. And mom, like, this is why I didn't want you to get married. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want you to get married because you were not ready. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be with somebody who was like a deadbeat? You know what I'm saying? If you are out here like just wasting your time, wasting your life or whatever, you brought a whole baby into this world and it's not right to the baby that you can't afford it. I say, well, that is true. That is absolutely true. You need to do better, Paul. Okay? Because I can't keep helping you. But she want that damn dog food. A big bag of that. I'm like, the dog would have just been, look, if you can't afford your dogs, you don't need to have dogs, okay? But I'm like, that's all they talked about. I mean, well, the current mess going on with Paul and Karine, where supposedly Karine got mad and she left and was missing. Not missing, but she just somewhere had not from Paul. I don't care. I just feel like him saying anything for some attention. Now, next up we have Larissa and Eric. Yep, and I made their pictures big so I can clearly read my notes of them. Because there was so much shit, and because of her accent, I be having to read the captions, and it be team too much. Cause I want to focus on what I'm saying without having to look at stuff or whatnot. So, Larissa, of course, is going to confront Eric because she called the girl Natalie, who he was on the phone dogging her to. Okay? And so when she like, so I called Natalie. He was like, oh, okay. So you just, you think digging up the dead is acceptable. She says, well, yeah. And I'm like, that's a good way to put stuff. You digging up the dead. Stuff that was over and done for and is gone from this world. You brought it back to life. Okay. And then an argument ensues between them two. Her issue is, I can't believe you talked about our sex to the people, okay? He felt like, look, we agreed that once we got back together, anything we said while we were broken up would not matter in our current relationship, okay? He also likes to make a point saying, you have also spoke about our sex on the show, about me and you, and about Colt and you. So what's the big deal? She has done that. She talked about how either good or bad Colt's sex was. She's also talking about how good or bad his sex was. So again, she did do that, okay? But her thing is, but you talk about me to strangers. I mean, all of America are strangers too. Neither one of them are innocent in this argument, okay? The only thing I can say his point is a little bit more valid is if we got back together and said the past don't matter, she should not have went digging up shit. He probably had made her agree to that because he knew he had been talking cash shit. But my thing is, Larissa dumb. No one knew what he had said to anyone off camera. We didn't know shit. She brought the shit back up or whatever, okay? And her thing is, I'm up here, you know what I'm saying? And you're down here. And I'm like, what does that mean? He like, do you know where you at, girl? You in my house. I say, oh, he's upset, okay? And then why would you say I get bad blowjobs? Bitch, my face costs $10,000. I'm like, having a $10,000 face don't make your dick sucking skills any better. Unless you had a dick sucking facelift. Okay, now if a dick sucking facelift was done for 10 grand, I get it. But I'm like, how much your new face cost don't matter. Because the old face is just fine for free. Anyway, Eric admits I did say some things while we were broken up, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like we should be able to discuss this as adults, and that's not what she's trying to do. She wants to fuss and argue, and I'm not what she does. The only difference is Larissa said things about stuff on TV, and no one had any idea that he told that lady that Larissa can't suck dick. We did not know that. She's also upset because apparently the phone when he was talking to people on is the phone that, as she say, I let you borrow the phone. He said, no, you gave me the phone because when they were broken up, she never asked for the phone back. He's had the phone the whole time they were not together, whatever. And I mean, it's just messy. And she's like, I think I need to leave. I think you do too, because it's just dumb. And we see that she calls her friend Carmen, who she was living with, put her out. Because she like, I think I need to talk. Are you free later? She's like, yeah, you can come back like 4. She's like, I need to leave this house before I get arrested and get deported, because if he calls the cops on me, I could go to jail. So she goes to talk to Carmen, tells Carmen what happens, and Carmen like, I knew it. I didn't think it would happen so soon, because this has only been like 2-3 days. She ain't been gone a full week yet. Okay? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? She like, Larissa, you need to learn to love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stop being what a man is, because you basically bored. You know what I'm saying? It's just dumb. We then see Larissa gets a call from Eric's roommate David, who's calling because Eric don't have a phone now, and they like, well, he could have you arrested. He can go to the police for stolen property for that phone because you gave. I'm like, oh my god, now the roommate is involved. It was just dumb. But then she yelling at David, go live your life. That was my phone. I don't care. And she hangs up. And then, you know what I'm saying, Carmen like, let's give him the phone back. It's like, why, this, both Carmen and David were both saying this is a dumb issue for y'all to even be arguing about. Like, it's just stupid. And she gonna, because he could call the cops on her. I think he said he could call the cops on her, if I'm not mistaken or whatever. But it's a dumb thing to argue about. They just don't need to be together. And Karla like, just give me the phone back or whatever, because you will be the one to get arrested if he calls the police, and then you'll be deported because of your history. So just stop it, okay? And then someone knock on the door, and Larissa just assume, oh my god, he called the police, and she like runs and hides. I'm like, girl, it's probably the fucking DoorDash people, but I don't know. Liz and Andrei. Y'all know I don't like Andrei. I don't like him at all. He gets on all my nerves that I have. But again, Liz married him, so it's on her. So this is after the whole Liz telling him, like, we don't have to get married a second time. Okay, I don't have to do that or whatnot. And so he feel like, well, she can't cancel the wedding because I would not be disappointed. I'm looking like, first of all, her daddy paying for it. So I feel like she can cancel whatever she wants to, but I'm like, leave it be. So he tells her that her family is the problem, okay? Because they keep causing drama after dinner. She's like, no, that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? It was a bunch of bullshit. And, he said, you need to tell your father and be honest or whatever, that you want me to not work. You want me staying at home with our daughter. She's like, well, I'm not gonna lie, that's not true. Like, that's not what I want. Like, it was one thing when she was young, like a little baby. Yes, but no, she's old enough now to where you don't have to be the only one to watch her. You can get a damn job and work. He refuses to hear her saying, I don't want you staying home anymore. She's saying that out of her mouth. I don't want that anymore. Well, no, our bills are paid. We have a nice life, so it's not going to change. The fact that she allows him to do stuff like that, he picks her for a reason. He said, this is an American I can run over. I can probably spend her money. She's probably desperate. Because to me, this is desperation. The way he disrespects her as a person is desperation to me. Not saying he don't love her. Not saying she don't love him. But in love, you have to be respected. He don't respect her at all. He lives off of her and her daddy. Okay. Anyway, so she said, I'm just tired of being in the middle. It's always if Andrei feel one way and my family feel the other way, one of them want me to pick a side in what they talk about or whatever. Well, because you picked a man who doesn't care about how you feel. And your family knows how you feel. Your family, for the most part, is usually capping for your ass. You're the reason you're in the middle because you want your fucking husband. He ain't shit and he get a goddamn job. But I digress, okay? And so, and again, you married this asshole, so you have to deal with his shit. We didn't see the families going out to dinner. It was, her daddy, her brother, Andrei, the brother, and the brother's wife, and then like his friends and stuff, you know what I'm saying, from around the way or whatever. Because I don't know, there was some other guys or whatnot. So the food the Americans did not like. Her father and brother was like, nah, I wouldn't do that again. But at first they all having a good time, getting along, you know what I'm saying, sitting and drinking and chit-chatting. So the one relative friend or whatever who supposedly was the one that told Andrei to come to Ireland is what Andrei said is there. And he like, oh yeah, I was over there, whatever. And Andrei, so he was talking about that and whatnot. So they're like, oh, so what brought Andrei to Ireland? They really want to know why he left. Are they beating a dead cat? Yes. Beating a dead cat with a dead horse. However, I can understand wanting to know about a person's past more often than not. And even though her and Andrei are married, here in Michigan, in Detroit really, there was a lady who was married to a man and had no idea that his past life, not his past life, but earlier he was in prison for like murdering a wife. And he was out, married her. She had no idea. His family wouldn't tell her nothing or whatever. The dude ended up killing all their damn kids. And damn, they tried to kill her. But again, it's because she didn't know. So I feel like her family digging into what he's hiding makes complete sense. I don't want to be with no man who can't tell me parts of his life. I don't want no man with my child, my best friend, my mama, my sister. I don't want nobody I know who has a secret past that they keep hiding and the people around them won't speak on. And I think that I don't like that at all, because you never know what's Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, all the people who be, girl, come on now, we don't know things. We have to pay attention. Ted Bundy, okay? You have to pay attention. You never know what's lurking right below the surface. And then you pissed off when you come home and your damn kid murdered because the damn crazy ass husband was a murderer in Ireland. I went off on a whole tangent. But I'm just saying or whatever. So when again they asked the friend like, okay, what happened or whatever, Andrei looks weird at the question like, what was doing in Ireland? And Andrei, to me, signaled for the dude to not say shit. I feel like he also shook his head no, like don't say shit. You know what I'm saying? And the dude then say, oh, I don't remember why. I remember why he came to Ireland. I'm like, how you don't remember why somebody came to be with you? I'm like, but I digress. Because it's not like this is 30 years ago. This is maybe, 2 years ago? The brother like, okay, what's up with Ireland? Like, why is it like, what was you doing? Or whatever. Andrei, you don't need to know. It doesn't matter, okay? The dad then say, look, okay, he's close with y'all or whatnot, and saying when he moved to Ireland, you know what I'm saying, did he tell y'all about Liz? Like, was he happy or talking about the future? They all saying one way or the other. He said he met someone, he was happy, he was very, very eager to be with her, whatever. So yes, he liked it, and it was that. The dad then brings up how, it's just weird that he moved to Ireland or whatever, meets someone from America, and then he wants to move here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, we just want to know, was it like a plan? I mean, it probably was. But at this point in time, he's here, they got kids, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The brother then brings up how I feel like, Andrei made this, wanted to be here. Andrei gets upset, like, oh, this bullshit about a green card. And I'm like, Lord Jesus. Liz in the midst, like, they have first discussed her moving there. That was the first discussion. I feel like he probably told her that to make her feel like, oh yeah, we can be here. I think he always wanted to come to America because, as the brother said, he always talked about all the great things that can happen in America, whatever. So the brother felt like, okay, I feel like he moved from Moldova to Ireland to get closer to meet someone who's American to be able to come over here and be in America. That's what I think happened. So at that point in time, Andre's pissed. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They're like provoking me with these questions or whatever. Then why they ask my friends these deep questions? And they're like, we are meeting your friends for the first time. We're just, and truthfully, that's what you do when you out. You ask, so you know from where? So how, like you ask questions and talk. It's normal in America. I guess maybe over there it isn't. You know what I'm saying? We want to get to know you and your family. Libby then admits he does get defensive when anyone asks questions. Oh, you need to, do something, Libby. I'm looking like, what's she supposed to do? Now, Andrei and the brother are kind of exchanging little, snarl remarks. They both are telling Liz that she needs to do something. I don't know what she wants them to do. And it's like, I'm tired of being in the middle. No, y'all are two grown men. Y'all can talk yourselves. Like, I should not be in the middle. But she's literally sitting in between her brother and her husband. So, they kind of just talking back and forth, whatever. And then, like, Andrei then sees, oh, we can talk outside. Oh, I can go outside. I'm like, y'all finna fight? Like, what's finna go on? Now, Andrei then tells the brother to shut the fuck up, okay? And you shut the fuck up. And now it's like, Pedro in winter or fall or whatever Chantel's brother name is on, when they got into a fight at the table. I'm like, why is the husband fighting the brother again? Okay, so we then see they both get up and they like in each other's faces, but also holding one another like they're gonna slow dance. So I was confused about that. But I mean, it was intense to the aspect of they was talking tough. I mean, the fact that neither person swung means neither one really wants to fight. And I think Andrei just wants to sound tough. I would have swung. It would have been a punch thrown the minute someone stood up and said, let's go. Okay, let's go. But I digress towards Russ. I blame Elizabeth. That's her husband. Kalani and Asuelu. They are going on a road trip to see his family, okay, up there in Washington and everything, but they stop at like a Samoan store that sells I don't know. It was a small store to buy some gifts or whatever, and mainly so that they don't have to give the mama no money. They don't have much money. They don't. He works a part-time job. I don't think she's working right now, and the mama was asking for them to give her $1,000. 1,000 is a lot. My rent is more than $1,000. So my thing is to just give someone $1,000 just on GP. But when you don't have that kind of money, that's different. And I get that's his mama, but she don't want money for any other reason besides I want some money. You should give me some money. I know you're not working much and your job don't pay much, but you should give me money over your family. I'm like, I think that's some bullshit. And so he walking around picking up corned beef hash and random ass t-shirts and sarongs and shit. And I'm like, what is we doing? They spent almost $200 on stuff in there, and then they're trying to figure out how much money they will give the mama. Asuelu, part-time job working ass, wants to get a mama $1,000. That is not realistic, okay? They can't afford that shit, okay? Because again, they stay at the house with her parents. He works part-time. They can't afford it. I think they living off her savings mostly or whatever, but they don't have that $1,000. They just don't. So he like, we have to give it away or whatever, and God will make a way to pay us and give us the money back. And she was like, okay, well, how about we give your mom $1,000, we give my dad $1,000, and we just hope that God will put the money back in our accounts. And when she said it, I'm looking like God can make a way, but also God is saying, don't be dumb, my child, okay? She then said, well, how about we give her $50? And he was like, no, I have that in my pocket. He then goes in his pocket. He don't have that. Right. If you don't have the 50, where is the 1,000? Okay. She said, okay, well, how about we give her 100. He said, okay, that's fine. But he still was like upset that she only wants to give his mom $100. Has your mama sent you any money? Any parent who don't get my kid not making no money like that, they can't afford to send me shit. And the mama not even over there in Samoa. She's in fucking Washington, D.C. Girl, the fuck by, okay? And so we found out that Kalani's sister coming with them as well to help tend to the children, but she gonna fly in separately. So after 12-hour flights, they've been flying all this time or whatever, and they in a little rental car or whatever, the kids is crying and tired or whatever. She told them like we can't go over there tonight to see them or whatever. I'm saying the kids is tired and crying. We need to get the kids home. Like we can go tomorrow. And he's pissed. He's upset. I want to see my family. This is bullshit. Oh, this is bullshit. And saying he cussing and cussing some more. He brings up how his family prepares stuff. So for them it sucks that they just didn't show up. Girl, Asuelu needs to. Kalani feel like Asuelu was trying to buy his family's affection for one, and he's always trying to just make them feel like he can do whatever, and he can't. And I think the more he gets used to America, the more he may realize I'm not supposed to be breaking my back to send them money when I don't have the money. For my family. Y'all was scraping and surviving to pay the $200 for them damn t-shirts and corned beef hash. You can't afford to give your mama $1,000. You probably can afford 100, but I digress. Next up, Colt and Jess. So they're all about to leave, and they're going to whatever other city to meet up with Jess's friends. So we see they're all staying by her family or whatever. We see they gave Debbie some little gifts, some little flip-flops. Okay, that's cool or whatnot. And before they leave, Colt decides to talk to Jess's father. He says, I want to talk to him because I may not be able to come back soon enough to get his approval if I want to marry Jess. So let me do it now, so that if I want to marry her later, I already know I have his blessing or whatever. So he has like the translation app or whatever, and asking them, separately, privately about, marrying Jess. And he said, you make her happy, and she loves you, so, you do have my blessing. I'm like, Lord Jesus. So, Debbie and Jess looking like, what are they over there talking about? So in the car ride, to wherever they're going. So, Colt, what was you talking to, her dad about? Oh, just sports. Just, men stuff in sports. I'm like, that's a whole lie. And so Jess then brings up, I just so sad to leave, because I don't know when I'll see my family again. And Debbie said, isn't your visa up in 6 months? So won't you be back in 6 months? Well, I'm trying to work on things, to, be in America longer. And she looks at Colt. I'm looking like, oh, Lord Jesus. So, just weird. So Debbie, it's like, I just, if he asks her dad to marry her, if he asked the father for her hand in marriage, I would do whatever I need to do to stop it. Like, I'm not going to allow them to get married. Like, it's just not going to happen. I won't allow it. Now they get to the new location with the new hotel. He got them separate rooms on different floors. That's smarts or whatever. And then we see that Debbie calls Vanessa, the friend who Colt is friends with, but Jess don't like. And Colt told Jess that he no longer talks to Vanessa, but we know that Vanessa is in Vegas taking care of the cats or whatever. So she calls her like, I'm worried that Colt may be trying to get married to Jess or whatever. I'm worried that he may have asked her dad for the hand in marriage or whatever, and that Jess is suggesting that she's going to have a visa or she'll be over here longer, even though her visa is about to expire or whatever. And I would sabotage the relationship, if I have to save my son from another mistake. I'm like, Colt and Jess are moving quick. Jess is batshit crazy, so is Colt. And I don't think he's ready for marriage at the y'all. So then, Colt and Jess come by because they're dressed to go hang out with her friends, and they want Debbie to come, and she's like, no, I don't think I want to go. She's like, no, Debbie, come on, have fun. We're in San Pablo, we're saying whatever, and saying, come. And she's like, I maybe. And then she says to Colt, I talked to Vanessa, and the cats are doing real good. She sent me some cat videos. Want to see the cats, and she pulled up the living, and she said it's so effortless. I was like, Debbie messy. Debbie is messy. Okay, and when she says, "Wait, what? Who?" and she was like, "Oh, Vanessa. She's watching my cats. So look at the video." She's like showing them the video, whatever, and Jess is like, "Vanessa, you told me that Vanessa's a bitch. Cole, you're lying or whatever." And they were like, no. She's a friend. She's just a friend. She's not doing it for Cole. She's doing it for me. She's my friend too. You know what I'm saying? Those are my cats. And you know what I'm saying? But if you don't, trust Cole, if y'all don't have trust, then y'all don't have no relationship or whatever. I'm saying she's a nice lady or whatever, but she's just our friend. Cole says, Jess, I love you. Okay, you know that. It's not like she's literally just a nice lady who's like a friend or whatever, and I don't talk about her because you don't like her, okay? But she's actually pretty nice. I can't believe you. And then Debbie and you have to trust him. If you don't, do you trust him? And she's like, no, I don't trust her. Well, no, if you don't trust him, like, y'all can't be together. Like y'all should just break up. I'm like, girl, because you're a child. You need to grow up. I'm looking like, it was just, Debbie definitely set it on purpose to piss Jess off. She wants them to break up. But Colt agreed with his mom. Like, yes, I did lie. I did, but I still feel like Jess is overreacting. And that's why I just stopped having a conversation about Vanessa, because this is how she gets or whatever, and it's just stupid. And since she gets upset, and I don't like that. I said, well, you picked her. You picked a Larissa. Point two. Okay. Angela and Michael. They walking through a little, I guess, an animal habitat or whatever. I really was like, I wish the monkey was like smack her one good time, but it didn't. So she finally decides to tell Michael, hey, guess what? My uterus may have cancer. Because again, this whole time she has not told him that or whatever. And then he gets it, but he doesn't get it or whatever. And saying, and then he like, so does that mean you can't have kids? And she's like, well, the main issue is like, I may have cancer. He's like, well, yeah, I get that too, but like, does that mean you can't have kids? Because again, his whole time of dating her, he's always said, I want children. Angela has known this whole time she can't give him no baby. And she, to me, is just leading him on, having him think, oh, I can tote a baby. Her uterus cannot tote no baby. Okay, it just can't. I can't. Anyway, so they're waiting for the doctor to call her with the results of her blood work or whatever. And so as she's sitting there talking about maybe having cancer, she's smoking a cigarette. I'm looking like, Lord Jesus. So, he like, so if you can't have kids, like, what does that mean? And she said, well, I just wouldn't be able to have kids for you. And would you want to, like, not be with me? Or would you want to be with me anyway, knowing I can't have no kids? He like, I don't know. I got to think about it. You're important to me. You know what I'm saying? But I can't think of myself in a way of not having children. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. Like, in this moment, I need time to think about it. And so she's like, that kind of answers the question. I'm like, you've always known he's wanted this. You also knew that you can't give to him. But she assumed if I just have him be with me for a while, he probably just won't care. And he like, no, I want kids or whatever. So, well, if you feel that, like, we shouldn't get married. Y'all shouldn't. Because a man should not want to not be with me just because I can't have kids. He's 30. You've told it your own. You've already had your children and all of that. He deserves that same right, whether he loves you or not. But I digress. So the doctor calls her and like, you don't have cancer. You don't have, you don't have that. So then I go in and say, okay, so what does it mean about her having kids? And she's like, with her being older or whatever, she would have more complications if she even attempted to get a donor egg, to try to have a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a risk to her and to the baby, whatever. So you know what I'm saying? It's not safe. But it's up to y'all to make that decision. It's not that she can't do it, but the complication that comes with it because of her age, it would be, she could die, whatever. And then she then makes him feel like, okay, so you should not want kids. You should want to be with me, because wanting to be with me and still wanting me to have your kids means you don't care about my health. No, bitch. He told you from forever ago, I want a baby. I want children. Okay, and I'm happy he didn't feed into her bullshit and then say, I'm gonna stay with you and just not have kids. He said, no, I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do, but what I do know is I want some children. Tania and Syngin are last. And I feel like theirs was kind of, easy breezy, beautiful, whatever. They're flying to South Africa to see his family. Okay. And then on the car ride to the hotel, because they're staying in the hotel overnight to be close to the airport, they're fussing because, again, she is concerned that once he gets over there, he's going to start drinking like he always does. And he's like, oh, please don't nag me when we get over there. They were in a full-fledged argument, and it's dumb. Y'all will continue to argue because he don't see no issue with his drinking. He just doesn't. And so you need to accept that or leave him be. But constantly bringing it up ain't gonna make him stop drinking because he don't see no issue with it. He like, it's just what I do. I drink beer. Morning, noon, night, or whatever. So he brings up how, going on this trip will help him determine if he made the right decision coming to America. Now we see the next morning they getting ready to go to the airport. And she was standing there as he was ready to go. And she was slowly sipping her coffee. Oh, just wait. I have to finish this coffee. And she kept doing that like over and over and over. I'm looking like, bitch, I would have been so mad at her. But I mean, anyway, they eventually left and got to Cape Town, South Africa. There was a lot of white people there. There were a lot of white people. I was like, where are the black people? Like, you only seen the black people who work at the airport. Like, the other people was like, I'm like, what? Girl. Anyway, he's happy to be back in South Africa. His mom is happy to have him back, and so is his sister. And the mom say, I'm going to find out if he's happy here or not or whatnot. And so the mom, the sister, and Syngin go shopping at the little market or whatever. And then, they're like, so what's going on with y'all or whatever? You're like, okay, so it's been stressful or whatever. We have been arguing a little bit. And I don't like the stress. I don't like arguing or whatever. So, that's tough. The mom and the sister both pick up like for 90 days that they rushed it. They had more things to fix before they should have gotten married or whatever. So it seemed like, well, yeah, we fuss about me drinking. He then say, but I'm South African and we drink. I'm like, is that a thing? Is a country known for drinking? It's just, that was a weird thing to say. I'm South African. That's what we do. We drink. Okay. I know the Irish drink. I guess South Africans do too. And he said, I wish she was just more carefree. I just wish, like, we're different people. And she's just so, wound up. The mama then said, yeah, she's quite demanding at times, okay? But in a marriage, you have to be able to trust, and you have to be able to, each person has to give a little bit or whatever, and let the other person be themselves or whatever. That's for both my son and for Tanya. Like, they both have to, adjust. And she don't think they have adjusted yet. And then, he like, I just know, who she wants me to be, and I know who I told her I would be, and I'm not that person yet. And mom like, well, are you happy? He says, well, right now, we just don't have a good dynamic, and I don't want to waste 2 years of being there and then break up 2 years from now when we know now that we should break up. But I'm like, the fact that he has the same I don't knowness that she had before the wedding. Which means y'all should have never gotten married, okay? But I digress. And that was our episode. It's 2:40 in the morning, okay? Am I going to edit this? I don't know. It might be mistakes in this, and I don't feel like editing this shit out at all. But I digress. Anyway, peace.